Good evening, good evening, good evening. So I was going to go over, I did my research. I kind of got it together now. So I'm going to go over once again tonight the Corporate Transparency Act. And then if you guys, I'll do like a little question and answer. So if you have questions, you can kind of just type them in the comment and then I'll just scroll down and we'll get the, I'll get the questions. Okay. So let me write down my exemptions. Hold on. So insurance, securities, banks, brokers. Okay. Money service business. Okay. So I'm sure everyone has seen online the Corporate Transparency Act, or you may have seen like the Corporate Transparency Act or the CTA, or the beneficial owner information, or the BOI report. Okay. So I wanted to kind of break down who needs to file it, who's exempt from filing. It started this year. So if you filed your LLC in 2023 or before, you have until January 1st of 2025 to get your BOI report in. Okay. If you formed your LLC in this year, 2024 or on, you have 90 days from the date you received your LLC or the date that the state formed your LLC to file your report. Okay. So this report is going to be with the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. Okay. So basically they're trying to cut down on people who own shell corps, people who are owning corporations or LLCs anonymously and not reporting all of the income. You are only reporting this information to the federal government. Like I always say, if you file your tax return, you're already submitting the information saying that, hey, I own this entity. So it's nothing really new unless you have formed your LLC in an anonymous state. So Nevada, Wyoming, New Mexico, Delaware, and it's four of them: Wyoming, New Mexico, Delaware, Nevada. So all entities have to file. So if you're an LLC or a corporation, you have to file this report. You can either get a FinCEN number. If you get a FinCEN number, then you don't have to put your information on the report. If you don't get a FinCEN number, then you'll put the information on the report. All they want is your name, phone number, address, and they want you either your driver's license or passport number, and then they want you to upload a picture of your passport or driver's license. Okay. Businesses that are exempted are going to be companies that either have $5 million in revenue, at least 20 full-time employees, have a U.S. physical presence, or employees that are, and businesses that are in some kind of exempt industry. So insurance companies, securities companies, banks, brokers, and anyone in the money service business. The good thing about this BOI report is that the information is not going to be disclosed to the public. Okay, so if you formed an anonymous LLC, you formed an LLC in one of those 4 states: Nevada, New Mexico, Wyoming, Delaware. Why am I tripping tonight? Nevada, New Mexico, Wyoming, Delaware. The information is not going to be public. So if someone does, do a search on the Secretary of State, your information will not pop up. And then when you submit this report, there is no database where someone can go into the FinCEN database to see who's reporting what. Okay, so you will keep your anonymity when it comes to people looking to see who owns it. So that is a good thing about this form. So you're not going to get fined $10,000 tomorrow. You're not going to pay $500 a day. If you already had your LLC, you have a whole year to file this report. Filing the report is free. If you formed it this year, you have 90 days to file. If you form your LLC next year, the requirement is going to be that this form has to be filled out within 30 days. Okay. So last thing, kind of like a recap, if you have an LLC or a corporation, you have to file this report. If you have an LLC or a corporation that's inactive, you don't have to file the report, okay? If you later on reactivate your LLC, so let's just say you forgot to file your annual report, you didn't pay your annual fee, and your state made your LLC inactive, you're not required to file the report. But once you make your LLC active, then you do have to file. Now, if you let the whole year go this year and you just say, I'm not going to file it, the penalties are going to be, you're going to be subject to civil or criminal penalties up to $10,000 and up to 2 years in prison. A person to report, complete, or update the BOI data to the FinCEN. Okay, so if you don't report the information, the entity that is governing this is called FinCEN, FINCEN, FinCEN. It's going to stand for, let me say it correctly. It's going to stand for the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. Okay, the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. So the Corporate Transparency Act is an act that Congress passed, that FinCEN, the Financial Enforcement Crimes Act, is trying to make sure that they know who are all the owners of these corporations, okay? So if you are trying to, establish a shell corporation, have an anonymous LLC, run money through it and not report that income, okay? So they're not so much worried about who owns it. They're worried about, knowing who owns it to determine what income should be reported. That's what this is for. If you did file the report, your information is not going to be public. Okay, it's going to go right to the Financial Enforcement Crimes database. And then if you are a company that has $5 million in revenue, 20 full-time employees, and you have a U.S. physical address, you do not have to do this report. Or if you have a business that's either in insurance industry, securities, banks, brokers, or in the money service business, I'm assuming like check cashing, all that kind of stuff, payday loans, you do not have to file the report. And then if you have an LLC or a corporation from 2023 previously, you have till January 1st of 2025 to get the report in. If you file your entity this year, you have 90 days to fill the report out. In 2025, you'll have 30 days. Okay, so that's it. So if you don't file your report tomorrow, you are not going to be fined $10,000. You're not paying $500 a day. There's no need to dissolve all of our LLC. I mean, I've seen all this information. It's just not true, right? So I just want you to understand what it is. If you don't know, what is the website? Let me give you FinCEN's website. If you want to read this information for yourself so that you are fully aware of it, FinCEN's website, hold on. FinCEN's website is going to be FinCEN, so FINCEN.gov, okay? So FINCEN.gov. That is the website for FinCEN. FinCEN is going to be the government agency that is regulating and requiring this BOI, or Beneficial Ownership Information Report, okay? So that is that. Now let's see if we have any questions. Let's see. Can you write off the lottery? No, the lottery is income. So you cannot write off the lottery. You'll be paying a tax on the lottery, sweetie. Okay, let's see. Okay, I ain't got no questions tonight. Okay. What happens if you don't file? I just answered that. You're going to pay a fine, and you can face up to 2 years. Fines start on, okay. Someone's answering the question. Thank you, boo. Okay. What if you don't have any money coming in or try to start a business and it didn't happen? Baby, okay, this is not, we're not filing a tax return, okay? The beneficial information report, the beneficial ownership information report is they're wanting to know who the owner is, okay? So if you formed an LLC, whether you made money, you didn't make money, you took the LLC and just trashed it in your backyard, all that doesn't matter. If you formed an LLC, then you need to you're going to need to file this report. Now this is not on the website, but I'm sure the states are having to report to the FinCEN to the FinCEN all of the LLC that they have in their database. I'm assuming that, so that there is some kind of checks and balances as to, what LLCs there are. So whether you made some money or not, you're going to still file into this report. The report is free. Okay. Y'all putting the website in the chat. Come on. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. I am from LA, but I've been in the South for a while. I was in law school in Louisiana, and then I was in Texas for like 20 years. So I kind of have a little Southern slang. Is consulting a good title to put on your LLC? Yeah, consulting is like a general, consulting will be considered like a general industry, so it's not going to be high risk. So consulting is fine. If your state requires you to put an industry on your LLC, then you can do that. If they don't require you to be specific, what you should always put is any lawful purpose. So that way, if you don't want to do consulting, you want to do something else, you can always change the purpose of your LLC. Most states don't require you to put a specific thing that you're doing. They will allow any lawful purpose. Some states are like, you cannot put any lawful purpose. You have to put a specific industry. So on those states, yes, consulting will be fine. I need you in my world. Okay, Grapper David, if you type in the comment help, a link will be sent to you for you to book a consultation. What are the 4 states? Okay, so the anonymous states are going to be Wyoming, Delaware, New Mexico, and Nevada. What if you have an LLC but didn't pay? Once again, if you didn't make no money in it, maybe it doesn't matter. They want to know who is the owner. Do you have to file if you receive a 1099 but don't own an LLC? No. Only LLCs or corporations have to file this. I got my LLC in April, so I got to file it. Okay. If you got your LLC before 2024, you don't have to file until January 1st of 2025. If you got your LLC before 2024, so you got your LLC in 2023, 2022, 2021, 2020, and on and on and on and on. If you got your LLC before 2024, you have until January 1st of 2025 to file the report. The 90 days only starts if you filed your LLC 3 days ago. So January 1st of 2024 and on, okay? Does it cost money to file? No. When do you have to file before January 1st of 2025. If you start an honest LLC this year in Wyoming, do you still have to file? As long as you start an LLC in the US of A, yes, you have to file, okay? Everyone who owns an LLC needs to file this form. Nevada, Delaware, Wyoming, and New Mexico. That's the 4th one. Health and feet, New Mexico. I read that it leaves you several avenues to operate like multiple businesses. King Kwesi, can you kind of restate your question for me? I don't understand what that's saying. I am new to getting an LLC. Do I do this form as soon as I form the LLC? Daryl Colbert, you can, if you formed the LLC in 2024, you have 90 days to fill out this form. Do we have to file an annual report with an active LLC if we're currently not using it? Yes. So to keep your LLC active, the state is going to require you to file your annual LLC report. Some states just require a report. Some states require a report and for you to pay some kind of annual fee. So that's just to keep your LLC active, meaning like, hey, state, I want my LLC. I want to still use my LLC. I want to reserve my name. If your LLC goes inactive because you didn't file your form, what they're going to do after a certain period of time, they're going to then put your business name back in the bowl of available names, and then someone else can file an LLC and then take your name. Okay, so they're going to send you notices like, hey, you're inactive. Depending on the state, they're going to give you some time to, file the report, pay the fee, bring the LLC current. If you don't, they will then terminate your LLC, and then someone else can then take your name. So you have to file the annual report to keep your LLC active. You got to file this BOI report to not be having no issues with the federal government. Okay. Hi, I would like to know how I can open up my business opening a shelter. Okay, Cappers 6965, I would say book a consultation with me. You can just comment help in the comments and a link will be sent to you. You are amazing. Oh, thank you, girl. Are there any penalties in terms of tax when you convert from a DBA to a LLC? No. If you are a single member LLC, is taxed the same way as a sole proprietor. So instead of writing off your income and expenses for your DBA on your 1040 via the Schedule C under your name or your DBA, you'll be using the same form, Schedule C, but it'll have your LLC and your EIN number. So LLCs, if you are a single member, meaning one person owns the LLC, okay. On the state level is where you form the entity. So the state regulates the formation. So either you form an LLC or a corporation. The IRS regulates how you're taxed. So you have the state side and you got the federal side. The state side forms the LLCs and the corporations. The federal government taxes them. Okay. So an LLC can be taxed as a sole proprietor, or it can be taxed as an S corp. Or corporation is known as a C corp. So a C corp can be taxed as a C corp, or a C corp can be taxed as an S corp. So if you're a single member LLC, tax-wise, you're going to be taxed like an S corp. If you are a multi-member LLC, meaning there's two or more members of an LLC, you're going to be taxed as a partnership. Until you fill out the form, I think it's 2553 saying, hey, IRS, I want to be taxed as an S corp. That's how you're going to be taxed. So there are no penalties in terms of tax when you convert from a DBA to an LLC if you are a single member LLC. If you are a multi-member LLC, there's no penalties, but a partnership doesn't file on your personal return. A partnership has to file a partnership return. So if you have a partnership or if you have an S corp, the business return, if you have a partnership, an S corp, or a C corp, the business return is going to be due a month before the personal return. So your business return will be due on March 15th or September 15th. So a month before your personal is due. You'll file your business return, and then the owners will get something called a K-1. A K-1 will be similar to like what a 1099 will be, and you will take that K-1 and then you'll file it on your personal tax return. Now, you won't have any different tax consequences, but you will have some more expenses. So you'll have to now pay for two tax returns, a partnership return and the LLC return. Okay, so a business tax return will run you $500 to $1,000 depending on how complex the return is. Okay. Hold on. Y'all just started throwing some comments in here. Hold on. How do I get back to where I was? Bam. Here we go. Do I need an LLC for a candle business? Yes, you need an LLC for any kind of business. So the whole point of forming an LLC is to set... Where are my cups? So when you have a DBA, which is nothing, which is what I call don't be asked out, right? When you have a DBA, all a DBA is a professional nickname. So I'm Joy. I want to do Joy's Lashes. So I don't want my business to be called Joy. I want it to be called Joy's Lashes. So a DBA is just a nickname that you give yourself to do business. When you do business as a DBA or a sole proprietor, you're doing business as yourself. So if you have a house, if you have a car, if you have any money in the bank, you're doing business exposing all of your assets to your creditors. We don't want to do this. So before the business makes a dime, before you even know what you're going to do, you want to form your LLC to separate you from the business. So now I'm doing business as Joy's Lashes, and I get sued, something happens, a breach of contract. They can only come after what Joy's Lashes has. They cannot touch my personal assets. That's called asset protection, okay? So I don't care if you haven't made a dime. I don't care if you lost money. We're forming an LLC not just because we're making money. We're forming the LLC, number one, to separate our personal assets from the business. Number two, it's going to reserve the name and the state that you're in. So you don't just start a business, start branding yourself, get the goodwill, people know what you're known for. Then 2, 3, 5 years later, you go form the LLC and your name's taken. Now you have to go rebrand, get new packaging, change your name, and there's value in something called goodwill, right? If you see the McDonald's golden arches without seeing the word McDonald's, you know what those golden arches mean. So you want to form the LLC for reasons besides making money. If that answered your question. Is there a maximum amount you can put on your taxes for your SBA loan interest? The interest is in thousands, but I don't know if you can only do a percentage. Baby, no, I didn't. Hold on. Whatever is the interest that's what you would write off. And I want to say you're going to write off on your Schedule A. So you would just, the SBA should either give you a paper or you would have a statement showing what your interest was. So there is no limit, whatever the interest is. Should you dissolve a sole proprietor if you don't have... A sole proprietor is nothing. So there is nothing to dissolve. A sole proprietor is just you going out here doing business, risking all your assets. So there's nothing to dissolve. What about those states? Love your amazing, smart, beautiful, bright. Thank you, Hero. Okay. What about if you got it in 2024? I'm assuming you mean your LLC. If you form your LLC in 2024, you have 90 days to file your BOI report. Can I switch to an S Corp to avoid filing? Okay, so an S Corp is not an entity. Remember, there's only two. You're only going to form an LLC or a corporation, a C Corp. An S Corp is a tax election. An S Corp is a way that you're choosing to be taxed. So you can't form an S Corp, okay? An S Corp is just a tax election. So either you're an LLC or you're a C Corp being taxed as an S Corp. So there is no switching entities to an S Corp because an S Corp doesn't exist as far as an entity. It's a tax election that the IRS gives. Like a nonprofit, you don't form a nonprofit. You form an LLC or a corporation, and then you go to the IRS and say, hey, I have an LLC, but I'm going to be doing charity, these kind of things. Can I please get a nonprofit tax election? Okay, so the taxing of an entity is dealt with the IRS. So you can't switch to an S Corp. You can't switch to an S Corp for entity purposes because an S Corp doesn't exist as an entity, only a tax election. Where can I find like a grant database? I have a grant bundle. It has over 1,000 grants. It's going to have some training courses that explain to you how to fill out the grant applications. It's going to have the link to all the grants. You have lifetime access to the grants. Training courses, ebooks, the whole nine. If you type in grants in the comments, a link will be sent to you. You can Google grants. There are websites like Hello Alice. You can go look at your Chamber of Commerce. You can look at your state to see, you know, what organizations are doing grants. Those are all places where you can find grants. Joy for President. Okay. Can you pin or repeat the name of the form? Baby, you're going to have to just watch this live again because I can't. If I touch anything or type anything, my live freezes. We can no longer hide behind anonymous filing states. All states now report. Okay, well, that's not true. So the lay person won't be able to find you. The federal government can. So that's the difference. So if you just don't want like a regular person on the streets to find you, you can still file in those 4 states. So the trust would need to file seeing that it's owned by a trust. A trust doesn't file, only an LLC or a corporation files. How can I set up my LLC to protect my assets? Once you form your LLC, you separate the business from your assets so they're protected from business creditors. Meaning when I form my business, if I'm doing Joy's Lashes and I put too much glue on someone's eye and she turns blind and she sues me, she can't touch my personal assets as long as I'm running my LLC and corporation correctly. Now, how do you protect your personal assets from yourself? So, hey, I have a house, I have a car, I have money in the bank. I am driving down the street. I am jamming to Beyonce. It's raining and I hydroplane and I run into the person in front of me and they die. They sue me for $2 million and I lose. They get a $2 million judgment. I only had $1 million insurance policy. So now I am personally on the hook for $1 million. Well, look at my other cup. If you want to protect your assets, you should watch my live tomorrow night. But there are 2 vehicles you can use. One would be a holding company. A holding company will be an entity of your choice, an LLC or a corporation that would own the assets, meaning the title, the deed will be in the LLC's name. So therefore, this is still me. If I'm Joy, same scenario, crash, kill someone, $2 million judgment, only had $1 million. I got $1 million. I only had $1 million. I'm on the hook for $1 million and they sue me. They only get what I own. I put my assets in a holding company so they can't touch those. Or you can get a trust. There are different types of trusts. I won't go into that on that live because tomorrow night, at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, me and Charlie Hands of the Hands Law Firm are going to go over trusts and how to use trust to protect your assets. Consulting title, multiple lines of business. Okay, King Quessy, I don't understand what you're saying. I don't get what multiple lines of business means. Any business that you start, it needs to be a separate LLC. So you don't want to have one LLC and I'm doing Joy's Lashes and Joy's Barbecue and Joy's Boutique. No, that's not what this is for. You need to have one LLC for each business that you're doing. So if that answers your question, if not, rephrase it for me. Okay, all I've paid for a consultation with Joy before, highly recommended. Thank you, Refresh Interiors. How do I file taxes if I haven't had time to open it up? Okay, you file taxes if you have income. If you didn't make any income, then you don't have to file taxes. If you had a loss, you don't have to file taxes. but it would benefit you because a loss can be carried forward for 5 years, meaning I'm going to start Joyce Barbecue. So in 2024, I start Joyce Barbecue. I have to go get a space. I got to go file my LLC. I get a trademark. I got to buy all this barbecue pits, supplies, signage, get employees trained, uniforms, logo, fixtures, the whole nine. So let's just say I put $100,000 into Joyce Barbecue in 2024. I wasn't able to open up my place until December because with all the remodeling, it took all that to get it together and permits and all that good stuff. So I only made $10,000 in December. So I had a $90,000 loss in 2024. Well, do you have to file a return? Well, you don't, because you don't meet the income threshold to have to file a return. But if you file the return, it will show a $90,000 loss. Now, if I am if I am an entrepreneur, I don't have a 9-to-5 where I'm paying payroll taxes, I'm not going to get a refund. But my $90,000 loss can be carried forward for 5 years. Well, why I want to carry a loss forward? Well, let's just say in 2025, Joyce Barbecue is now slanging and banging. So Joyce Barbecue does very well in 2025, and my CPA says, Joy, you did so good. You owe the IRS $100,000 in taxes. $100,000 in taxes? Yes. But because you filed this loss for $90,000 in 2024, we can carry the loss forward for the year, so that 90 will eat up that 100, and now I only have to cut a check for $10,000 versus $100,000. Or let's just say my IRS debt was $10,000. I could carry that $9,000 over for 2025 to eliminate that debt. So now I have $80,000. I can carry a loss for 5 years. So it's very important when you're starting a business, think about it as if you're starting the next multi-million-dollar business. Think about starting like you are starting the next Facebook. You're starting the next Amazon. Treat it like it's a real business. If you treat your business like a real business, you'll be able to have all the business benefits. See, the problem is we want to kind of pretend to be a business. We want to be a business on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We want to be a side hustle on Tuesday and Thursday. We want to just slang and bang on Saturday and Sunday. And that's how we kind of get tied up and we kind of get what I call assed out, right? We're not taking Cash App. Run it like it's Walmart. Does Walmart take Cash App? No. Does Walmart discount their prices? No. Does Walmart just treat their business account like a piggy bank? No. Okay, so run your business out your car, out your mama's house, out your little apartment like it's Walmart. Okay, so you're going to, have a point of sale system. We're going to put all our income in the bank. We're not going to accept Cash App, Zelle, or Venmo. We're only going to be, we're going to give receipts to all of our clients. We're not going to use the business bank for personal expenses. We're going to have all the license and permits, insurance that we need. We're going to have our LLC or our corporation. It's going to be active. We're going to have our operating agreement. If you want to make sure that no one can use our name, we're going to trademark it. We're going to file our LLC annual report, and we are going to, file our taxes. So if you act like a real business, you get to benefit from everything that the business has to offer for benefits, okay? So even if you take a loss, file the loss. If you have a business, you need to be at a CPA, at minimum an accountant's office. We got to leave H&R Block, Kiki and them's tax service. We got to leave all those and get you with a person that has a degree in accounting, because they understand all of these things. I happen to have a master's in tax law. That's how I know all this stuff. So you just need to, get with the right people. You got to have a team. Okay. If you can't afford an accountant, I'm telling you what you need. Just put it on your to-do list. As your business grows, as I'm growing, I know eventually I got to leave doing my own tax, and I got to get to, an accountant. So if you can't afford what I'm telling you to do, that's fine. Just kind of make a little mental note. And then when you can get to it, get to it. I requested a consultation and haven't heard anything back. Okay. Are you talking about the link? If you put help in the comments, if your page is private, DM me help and you'll be sent a link. If your page is not private, you can type in help in this live and a link will be sent to you. You can go click the link in my bio and click on consultation, and then my calendar is there. You can book right there in my calendar. Yes, I am a sole proprietor converted from a DBA to a LLC in New York. Okay. Do you have an does having an LLC affect my immigration process? Oh, I'm going to stay in my lane. I don't know about. Well, how did you get the LLC? Obviously you have to be a U.S. resident to have an LLC. And I do know that you can get your papers. I don't know if you're the owner of the LLC. I know if you're an employee of an LLC, it can help you get your papers for the U.S. I don't know about owning it. You would need to talk to an immigration attorney on that. I stay in my lane. I don't want to say anything that's not right. But I know a business can file on behalf of a person trying to get their papers to become a U.S. citizen. I only know of that as if the business is filing on behalf of an employee. I don't know if the business can file on behalf of one of the LLC members or owners. So that I don't know. Are there any tax exemptions when your LLC office is at home? There are no tax exemptions. There are tax deductions. It's basically whatever is the square feet of the room. What percentage of that space versus your entire house? So if my house is 1,000 square feet and my home office or the area that I have my laptop that I work is 100 square feet, that's 10% of the 1,000, right? So I can write off 10% of my rent or my mortgage. I can write off 10% of my internet. I can write off 10% of my light bill. That's called the home office tax deduction. I have a tax deduction guide on my website for 26 different industries and small businesses. If you type in tax guide in the comment, a link will be sent to you. If your page is private, DM me tax guide, and a link will be sent to you. How do you keep all this in your brain? Baby, I'm old. That's it, I'm old. Which one avoids double taxation? A C Corp has double taxation. So if you form a corporation, you want to choose the S Corp election. So a C Corp has double taxation, meaning when the company earns money, the company pays a tax. And then when the company distributes the profits, the owners or the shareholders of a corporation, they pay a tax. So a C Corp has double taxation. If I'm married, should I file jointly or separate with an LLC? Having an LLC, you can do either or. I don't know what your situation is with your spouse. So the lower tax bracket is for married filing joint. I don't know if the LLC has incurred some debt, has tax liability, your significant other has wanted nothing to do with it. I don't know what the ins and outs are of the relationship. That's going to be a personal decision. You would be at a lower tax bracket, meaning you would have a lower tax debt if you did married filing joint, but married filing joint brings your spouse into all of whatever are the tax implications of that. So you could talk to your accountant CPA and see what the numbers are looking like. If you do married filing separate, are you okay with those numbers, or do you want to do them jointly? But that's something that you guys gotta kind of think of on your own. You look just like Janelle. You know, I don't see it. People always say it. I mean, she's a cute little girl. I just don't see it. I am on live. I am on live. Okay. Okay. You are amazing. Thank you. How do you build business credit to be able to get approved? I keep getting denied and don't know. Okay. Okay, Steph, the realist 33. Let's get it. So when you form your LLC, the only way you'll be able to get funding is if you're going to personally guarantee the business. Well, why? Forming an LLC, so you have a brand new LLC, brand new EIN, is like having an 18-year-old that has no credit. Your business has no credit. So no credit is bad. No credit is looked at as bad, just like bad credit is, okay? Because they don't know, can you sustain a note? Are you going to pay on time? You're going to pay late? What you going to do? So if you're looking to get funding, so you see all these Instagram reels, no doc loans, and get $50,000 today, and form your LLC at 9 o'clock, and by midnight get you $1 million. All of that works if you tie your social security number to the debt, and you're going to be the personal guarantor. That's how the no doc loan works. A new LLC getting money out of a bank. Okay. If you don't want to be a personal guarantor, if you do not want to put your social and have to incur that debt, or if you are not credit worthy to get a loan, then you're going to have to actually build out business credit. Building out business credit is going to be a process. So think about elementary, junior high, and high school. I don't care how smart my son is, right? Deuce is in 4th grade. He could be a genius. Next year, he cannot go to high school. He has to complete elementary school, and then he has to go to junior high. You can skip a grade. You can't skip a whole school, right? I don't care how smart he is. He can't go from 4th grade to 12th grade. He has to finish elementary school. Then he has to do junior high. Then he has to do high school. So when you form your business has no credit. So you have to go get a Dun & Bradstreet number. We're going to have to go through tier 1 trade lines, tier 2 trade lines, and then tier 3 trade lines, and then tier 4 trade lines. Okay. The first step is going to be your tier 1 or your net 30 accounts or vendor accounts. These are going to be people that you order things from, and they're going to give your business 30 days to pay it back. You may have heard of Quill, Granger, Shirtsy. This is going to be the first level of establishing business credit. We can't go to tier 2 without tier 1. So you got to first have some tier 1 trade lines reporting to your business credit reports. There are 3 business credit bureaus. The largest one is going to be Dun & Bradstreet. Then you have Small Business Experian, and then Small Business Equifax. Okay? If you go to nav.com, nav.com, nav.com will work kind of like Credit Karma, where it will pull your business credit score from all 3 bureaus. What you're looking for is a Paydex score of an 80. A Paydex score is your business FICO score. Okay? So first you're going to get some tier 1 or trade lines reporting to your business credit report. Once you have them reporting, then we can go to tier 2 or junior high. Okay? Tier 2 is going to be your gas cards and your store credit cards. A credit card that can be used at that store. So Staples, Office Max, Home Depot, Lowe's, Best Buy. Once you get enough tier 2 trade lines reporting on your business credit report, now you can apply for tier 3. Tier 3 will be cash credit cards, okay? So American Express, Capital One, Chase, all that jazz. Once you have your tier 3 credit cards reporting to your business credit report, now you can apply for vehicle financing, a line of credit, or a loan. When it comes to vehicle financing, a line of credit, or a loan, I don't care how much of a paydex score you have to have money in the bank. Okay? So if you are looking for funding as far as like you want to do, I want to have some vendor accounts so I can kind of get something today and pay it off in 30 days, or I want some credit cards, I can charge stuff on a credit card, I can kind of get inventory supplies on a credit card, or I can pull some cash off a credit card. You can do all of that without a dime in the bank. When you walk in that bank, if you want someone to hand you cash money, you got to have revenue in your business last 90 days, no negative balances the last 120 days. Okay, so so if you're getting denied funding or denied loans because you don't have credit established, that's why I always tell businesses start applying for business grants. Business grants don't have a barrier to entry. All you need is an LLC, EIN, business bank account. Okay. You don't have to have revenue. You don't have to have bank statements. You don't have to have tax returns. It's not based on your credit. You can apply for as many as you want, but the best benefit of business grants is that you don't have to pay them back. So if you're a new business, you're a startup business, you're an established one, but you're kind of expanding and cash flow is tight, we don't have any kind of extra debt. So if you're interested in my grant bundle, type in grants in the chat. A link will be sent to you. If your page is private, DM me chats, or you can kind of Google and find you some grants. So if you can't get funding, first start applying for business grants. The applications will be online. They are super simple. I kind of break down what to ask for, what not to ask for, how to make your business stand out. I have videos, resources, all that kind of jazz so that you can get funding via business grants. That's the easiest way if you have not already established business credit. That was a long answer. There you go, Steph Dorillis. Why do I feel stuck starting a business? Come on. You got this. If you feel stuck starting your business, I want you to join my Becoming Challenge. It starts on January 15th. I'm going to unstuck you. We're going to kind of get those juices flowing. On the business side, we're going to get you together physically, mentally, but most important, financially. So it's a free challenge, 30 days. Type in challenge in the comments and a link will be sent to you. So for the 4 states you mentioned earlier, they can still stay anonymous. They can stay anonymous. Okay. They can stay anonymous to the states. Now, you're never really anonymous. Okay. So if someone has enough money, they can hire the right people to track you down to find what you own. Okay. It's just a person's going to have to really pay some money and make some extra effort to find you. You're never anonymous. There's always a way to track you down and find you. Okay. But for the most part, yes, you're anonymous for the most part, meaning I can't just Google you on Secretary of State and find your information. So Darren to Crawford, yes, for those kind of anonymity purposes, you're still anonymous, just not to the federal government. But to the people on the street, yes. Can we hire you? You can definitely book a consultation. Can improve interest to improve a retirement plan. I'm 67 and just wanted to know. Can improve interest to improve a retirement plan. Funny muzzled, I don't know what you're saying, but I don't know anything about retirement plans. That's not my lane. What are the steps of switching to an S Corp into an LLC going into the new year? Okay, so an S Corp is, if you made the S Corp election, my question would be, why do either you're an LLC or you're a corporation already. What are the last 3 letters behind your business name? So you're not switching, like you're either you're an LLC or a C Corp being taxed as an S Corp. I found the EIN number years ago, never used it. Do I form a new one because now I'm starting to do business? If you already have the EIN linked to your LLC, then no, you don't have to form a new one. Is there a cost? No, there is no cost for the BOI report. Where do I get a business email from? You can go to GoDaddy or you can go to G Suite. I made an EIN number 5 years ago. I never used it. I don't know where the paperwork is. I need to make a new EIN number moving forward. Okay. Do the rules apply the same for this new rule for a C Corp? Yes, it does apply. Okay, let's see. I was told unless I own the house outright, debt-free, then I don't qualify for a trust. That is not true. Well, that's not true. You would need to talk to your lender. So talk to your mortgage company. Mortgage companies are, as long as you're moving the asset to a trust or to an entity for asset protection, a lot of times they will allow that because they understand that you're moving the asset to protect it. You can't move it out and you can't move it out to your cousin's name, but yes, you can they'll allow you to move the asset to the trust. You will still be liable for the mortgage. Oh, the trust live tomorrow is going to be at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, let's see. Any more questions? And what is this new beneficial ownership information report, baby? Zamarine Bradley, if I said it right, I did a whole 20-minute live before this on that. So when I post this live on my page, just watch the beginning of it. I kind of went through all the information that you need to know about the BOI report. What are the main questions to ask your team? Okay, damn dimples, what team are you talking about? Does a grant count as income? Yes, it does count as income. Happy New Year, Atlanta Hair Doctor. How are you doing, girl? How are the kids? Does your business have to file taxes to be eligible for business grants? No tax returns are required. Okay, let's see. Any more questions? What if my LLC is in DC, but I work out of Maryland? Okay. Pinky, what are you asking? If your LLC is in DC, I guess my question would be, where is the business headquarters, or where do you live? Where are you filing your tax return? That's what's going to govern everything. I live in New York. I don't want to do business under my name. Should I start an LLC or a DBA? Start an LLC. Leave that DBA alone. How do you apply for grants? They're really just online applications. So it's going to be an online application for business grants. Nonprofit grants are different. I don't do that. I do business grants. It's going to be an online application. They're going to ask you questions like, why did you start your business? What obstacles have you had, or what have you overcome to start your business? What is different that you do than your competition? Why do you need the money, and what you're going to use the money for? And you answer those questions. How do you start building with bad credit? Okay, I answer that question just when I say this live. Just kind of come to the middle of it. I kind of did a whole little synopsis of how to establish business credit. Do you know anything about this new beneficial ownership? I sure do. Save this. When I post this live, watch the beginning. How long do you have to say it's at tier 1? You just need them to be reporting. It takes about 45 to 60 days for the first trade lines to report. So once they report to your business credit report, you can check them from nav.com. Then you know that you can go ahead and apply for tier 2. How do I change my LLC address from one city to another and remove Inc. file as my registered agent? You want to file an amendment with your Secretary of State to update the information. If you don't know how to do that, I have a webinar on it, on how to update all information. I would click the link in my bio and go to my website under webinars, and I have like a little mini webinar that walks you through how to fill out the amendment with your Secretary of State. How long do you stay at each tier? It's not a matter of time being there. It's a matter of having enough trade lines reporting. So once you have, I would say 5 to 7 trade lines reporting, then you can go to the next tier. It depends on how long it takes for them to report. If you have a paused at 75, but have not been active with your credit for 2 years, is that score still useful? The score is useful, but we need to be at an 80. Are grants considered income? Yes, grants are any kind of money coming into a business is going to be income. The thing is, when you get a grant, 9 out of 10 times, you're going to use the grant for your business, which is called business expenses. So I bought inventory, I bought supplies, I paid some people. So although it came in as income, it's going to be used on expenses. Therefore, it will become, how you use the money, if it's for business, would be a tax deduction. So a tax deduction reduces your income. So the more tax deductions you have, the lower your income is. Okay, so if I receive $10,000 of income and then I have $10,000 in expenses, I've then just zeroed out that grant. Okay, so if you want to know all the tax deductions that you qualify for, in the comments type in tax guide, or if your page is private, DM me tax guide, and a link to my tax deduction guide will be sent to you. Do you have to pay taxes or report grants? So it's kind of like, if you use all the money, you have to report, the income will be reported in your total gross income. If you have enough expenses if you get a $10,000 grant and you go to Miami, well then yes, you're going to pay a tax on that money because it's income and you don't have any expenses for it. If you zero out the income with the expenses, then no, you don't have to pay taxes on it. Okay, let's see. Any more questions? Does business credit depend on your personal credit? No, the two are separate. How do you book a day? Baby, you gotta spit this game. Baby, you can't. If you haven't used, if I haven't used my LLC or paid any taxes, it's still good. You need to check your Secretary of State to see if it's still active. If it's been over a year, you're probably inactive, but you can reactivate it by filing the annual report and paying the fee if there is one. Can you apply for grants for me? I do not apply for grants for people. I have a grant bundle that has training courses that walk you through exactly how to fill the applications out. If you comment grants in the comment, a link will be sent to you. If your page is private, DM me grants and a link will be sent to you. If a nonprofit is amending a name, is the $9.90 enough to update the EIN name convention? To update the name on an EIN, I want to say it's form like something like 8882. It's going to be it's like 3 8s in the form. Yes, you can get the grant bundle. Just type in grants in the comment. If I don't want to do business under my name, what's the best way to be anonymous? You would do business in your LLC name. If you want your LLC to be anonymous, you got to form it in Wyoming, Delaware, Nevada, New Mexico. I need help setting up a holding company or a trust. Okay, girl. If you type in holding company, I have a webinar on how to start and form and run your holding company. If you want me to kind of break it down one-on-one and kind of tell you the best structure for you and what you have going on, you can type in help in the comments and a link will be sent. You want to book a business structure consultation, or you can watch my live tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, where I will be going over holding companies, and attorney Charlie Hands will be going over trust. Is there a minimum length of years you need your business to apply towards brand? Is there a minimum length of years? Oh, this stuff's moving. Is there a minimum length of years you need your business, or does it also apply towards, the page keeps moving, towards brand new business? For grants, there is no, for most grants, there is no time limit. I have a 750 credit score, but it's still hard to get a business credit card, and I've been in business for 10 years. Okay, trade cleaning, is that, what is the, see, all credit scores aren't equal. That's a 750 with, do you have multiple different types of trade lines? We got a mortgage on there. We have credit cards. We have car loans. Or is your credit profile skim? Every 750, a 750 is a great credit score, right? But when it comes to applying for credit, they're looking at the, what's the word I want to use? They're looking at your credit profile, like how like what is the age of the trade lines on your account. If you did one of those credit sweeps and you have, you got you one little $1,000 credit card, well, yes, the score is 750, but you aren't going to get qualified because your credit doesn't have any kind of, I want to say girth, but that's not the word I want to use. They're looking for different types of credit. Like, do you have credit card with a high limit, vehicles paid off? So those kinds of things. I don't know what your credit profile, that's what I want to use. I don't know what your credit profile is. Can you update a DBA to an LLC, or do you have to scratch? Baby, if you have a DBA, you don't have anything, baby. If you have a DBA, you're a sole proprietor, you don't have nothing. Okay, you don't have nothing. You haven't established anything. There is no age to your business. You don't have nothing. You have just been in the wind. Okay, so when the second you form your LLC, now you are starting the clock for your business. It's now registered. You're now legit. Now you have something. Are you going to Bonner Brothers in February? Probably not. Can you change your LLC? No, yes, you can. You got to file an amendment. Doing DoorDash, can I buy a car and write it off under my business? You sure can. If your LLC has established business credit, watch the replay of this live and I broke that down. Text guy, can you change the name of the LLC or only a D, baby? You can change your name of the LLC by filing an amendment. Pre-lawsuit, and you are serious goals. Have you always been a solo practitioner? Did you work in a firm before branching out? Do you recommend solo practitioners to new grads? I worked for a tax firm when I first graduated, and then I hung my shingle. I'm an entrepreneur at heart, so I hung my shingle after a year. I don't know, if you're an entrepreneur at heart, meaning where you only eat what you kill, you may want to go work for a firm to get some experience, or you can get out here and make something shake. It's all on, I would say, like what kind of type of law. I was doing like a complex, like I was doing tax and asset protection. So back in 2000, when did I graduate? I think I graduated in 2004. So back in 2004, like entrepreneurship wasn't anything. So to go work at a firm doing asset protection, tax planning, all that good stuff for corporations because I wanted to get that experience. And but now, like with entrepreneurship, it all depends on what kind of law you want to practice or what you want to do. But I worked for a firm first. Is it okay to do TurboTax to file my business taxes? No. Technically, okay, to answer your question, yes, you can. I wouldn't recommend it. You need to be using an accountant or CPA so they can advise you as to all what are the benefits or all what you are entitled to have, entitled to do, entitled to deduct, entitled to carry forward. Like if you're a business, we're now past TurboTax and all that good stuff. I want to present an opportunity to you that I believe you'll love. How can I get in contact with you? You can either email me or DM me. Come on, Mama. A 990 is a tax return filed by a nonprofit entity. Thank you, Mama. Thank you for the 990. Come on. Hello, what is the deadline to set up a Roth IRA for tax purposes? That I do not know. What is the average amount of a grant award available to an aggressive grant pursuer? That is, how much can a company get across the board with many different successful grants? Normally range between like $5 to, I would say, $200,000, but there's no limit to how many you can apply for. So you can kind of stack multiple grants on top of each other. Like, who is my guy? JB Records. If y'all follow JB Records, he won the $10,000 Be Good grant, that Beyonce grant. I want to say that was like July, August. And then 2 months later, he won a $40,000 grant. If you have my grant bundle, I have a grant Facebook group. He's in there and I post him on page, but you can just get multiple grants. I need you to be my mentor. Okay, Principal, I have a mentorship program coming in March. Stay tuned. How should a business start business credit? When I say this live, rewatch it. I broke all that down. Can you do business in other states with one LLC? Yes, you can. You can do business in other states with an LLC. If you want to do banking in other states, you got to file as a foreign entity. You have to have a corporate presence in at least one state. So I can't be in Texas and then file a Delaware LLC, but do business in Texas. So I would have to, if you filed an LLC in a state that you don't have a corporate presence in or is not your headquarters, you have to then make that LLC a foreign LLC in your state. So if I live in Texas and I file a Delaware LLC and all I have is a registered agent, I don't have a corporate headquarters there, and I work from home and my home is in Texas, then I have to file that Delaware LLC as a foreign LLC in Texas to do business. Now, if I have a Texas LLC and my headquarters is in Texas and I open up a second location in Louisiana, I don't have to file a foreign LLC. I can just do business in Louisiana. If I want to open up my LLC to the banking of Louisiana, I would then need to file a foreign LLC to open up those banks to my LLC. LLC versus the S Corp, what is the best tax? If you're making $60,000 to $80,000 in profit a year, the best tax election will be an S Corp. If you are making less than that, the tax benefit of the S Corp doesn't outweigh the cost of the payroll you have to be on and the payroll taxes you're going to be paying and the additional business tax return. So you want to make that S Corp election when you are at that $60,000, $80,000 profit a year. To be an S Corp, the requirement is that the owner has to be on payroll, meaning a W-2 check being written out every 2 weeks, the payroll taxes being taken out. And the S Corp files its separate return. The average business return is going to run you between $500 and $2,000 depending on the complexity of it. So normally the payroll taxes, the cost of processing payroll, the additional return, those costs don't outweigh the tax benefit until you're at about $60,000 or $80,000 in profit. I would love to do your human design chart. Okay, well, what's a human design chart? Can a holding company leverage its commercial insurance policy to its subsidiaries? No. The subsidiaries need to have their own insurance policy. Do you have a book behind how to build business credit? I have a one-on-one business credit program, and I have a business credit consultation. If you type in business credit in the comments, a link will be sent to you. Do you have a referral for accountants? What if I can't afford one? I always recommend the Sassy Accountant. Who else do I recommend? It's a guy. Donald Pliner. I can find his I represent Sassy Accountant. If you can't afford one, baby, put it on your list. Take your nails off and lashes off for 6 months and just save up for it, and then just pay it. That's an investment that you need to have. If anyone on here is an accountant or CPA, why don't you just say, "Hey, I'm an accountant," and list your Instagram name so they can find you. My CPA passed. I reached out to family members. If you're a new business or if you're a new business, I would say if you're a new or established business, you can go to the Sassy Accountant. I want to say his name is Donald. I should just keep a list. I don't know the guy's name. But you want a CPA that understands that does business returns and understands the different business laws. Is it best to purchase investment property under an LLC or as an individual? As an LLC. I love how transparent, honest you are when you don't know the answer to something. You don't just misguide. Baby, I'm in my lane. I believe in being in my lane. If it's out my lane, I'm gonna tell you because I'm not trying to look smart. I'm just gonna tell you what I know. That's it. Okay, change business address. That'd be an amendment. Do you have a grant for baby? President Biden hasn't got your loans. There is no grant for student loans, but if we can say a little prayer, dear Jesus, please help that Biden pardons everyone's student loans on this live. Amen. There we go. Rexy, I'm on a live. Okay, you want to say hi? Okay, here's Rexy, y'all. Say hey, Rex. Say hey. Okay, Rex. You can write off the count of the account. Yes, you can write the count. You can write the cost of the accountant off on your taxes. You can write the cost of the accountant or a CPA. If you had an architect, an engineer, a lawyer, whoever formed your LLC, all that stuff is a tax deduction. If you buy it as an individual later, can you roll it over to the LLC? No, but yes. You won't roll it over to the... You won't... Corey Wayne, come get Rexy, please. You won't roll it over to the LLC. You would... There's two ways. It depends on what your accountant wants to do. If it's not a lot of money, you can write it off on your LLC. It came from you and the LLC. Technically, you would write it off as a sole proprietor. Okay, so an LLC... Corey Wayne, please get this dog. An LLC... And a sole proprietor and an LLC are going to file its taxes on a Schedule C. An LLC is a pass-through entity, meaning the income and the expenses pass to you personally. So, please take this dog. Thank you. I know. So, technically, the correct answer is you would have 2 Schedule C's on your personal tax return. One for you as a sole proprietor for all the business expenses you had starting the business, and then one for the LLC once it was formed. If it's not a lot of expenses, or if your accountant's like, I don't think it's that big of a deal, technically you could write it off all under the LLC because you still have documentation for it. And because whether you did it or the business did it and you're an LLC, it's still flowing to you personally and it's still being on your return. So technically, yes, there's another way of doing it, but yes, so even though you may have formed, let's just say before your LLC was formed, you already trademarked your name, you may have bought some inventory, you got your logo, you paid for a graphic design for your website, those are still going to be tax deductions. What happens in a new LLC and it doesn't have any income? How can we purchase? Watch the beginning of this live. Watch the middle of the live and I told you. Business been in 6 figures. Is it bad to still be filing business and personal taxes together for a single member LLC? If you are 6 figures in profit, you need to be taxed as an S corp. And if you're an S corp, the business will then file an 1120S tax return. That's the S corp tax return. So the business will file an 1120S on either March 15 if you're filing in April, or it will file on September 15th if you're filing in October. So if you're doing 6 figures in profit, you need to be switching over as an S corp because LLCs pay a 12.3 or a 12.4. Don't quote me on the point part. It's 12 point something percent self-employment tax. Oh, okay. If you're at 6 figures after all your deductions, you should be at your CPA's office in the morning, having him fill out form 2553 to make that S corp tax election. The deadline is going to be March 15th for to be an S corp. My business is a proprietorship, but it's set up just like an LLC. No, it's not if it's a sole proprietor. What if you haven't had any revenue? Is my screen frozen? Oh, that must be it. Okay. If you haven't had any revenue, then you don't have to file a tax return. If you have losses, you should file a tax return so that you could carry your losses forward in the upcoming years. Okay. This little button came off. Rexon took my little button apart. So I don't have any more questions. So everyone, we have a, hold on. Yes or no? No, I don't have any more questions. I'm doing a live tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. That's going to be Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time with the Hands Law Firm going over asset, not just asset protection, because you can have trust for your assets. You can also have trust on the personal side. Even though you have a business, but you may have a house and you really don't want to have a will. A will has to go through probate court, so that's going to cost money. So when you die, your heirs or your descendants will have to pay money to probate your will to then get access to your assets, which is court fees, attorney's fees, delays in courts, and then if anyone contests a will, that's just a big delay. So a lot of times the asset of the estate gets eaten up in fees. Where if you have a trust, the assets will kind of go immediately to your heirs or descendants without any kind of court cost. The trustee just, disperses of the assets. So even if you don't have a business, you can still have a trust for your personal assets. And then they are a great avenue of passing your assets down without being tied into court costs, depending on how large your estate is, meaning how much money you got. There are different types of trust. Let me leave this button alone. There are different types of trust that you can use. And for asset protection reasons, if you set up certain types of trust and you pass the assets on to your kids, there are ways that will make those assets always be separate property. So if your child were to marry and then divorce, they would not lose that asset. Okay, so I advise everyone to kind of tune in tomorrow. I like, Charlie Haynes is really good. He's going to be breaking down trust, why we need them, how to use them, the different types, all that good stuff. So I will also record that live and post on my page if you can't if you can't make it, or you can just find an estate planning attorney in your state that does trust. But check out our live tomorrow. Everyone have a great night, and I will of course see you at the bank.